Hello out there. Today we are taking a look at a custom. This is a Generations Leader Class Skywarp that has been turned into a VF-1S. This is the Skull Leader version. It was done by my friend Lee in Australia. So Lee is an artist of all different kinds, all media, and I'm lucky enough that he decided to do one of his beautiful sort of scrapyard, post-apocalyptic. He just junked this thing up, and it looks fantastic in my opinion. Without going too much into the whole process, I will say that the basic technique is that you paint the figure in the reddish-brown kind of rust style, hairspray it, so that whatever you paint on top of that will kind of dissolve. Put some salt crumbles, things like that on to give these textures. Then you paint it as though it's going to be a beautiful, gorgeous custom, straight up out of the factory. And then you just take a toothbrush and you work away, a wet toothbrush, you work away the hairspray and the salt, and what is left behind is a very naturalistic look to the decay that you see here. He did do the landing gear, but if we close that up, we can take a better look. The nose cone. You can see there's actually some physical texture to it, and he's put some rust, kind of draining out, as though it's been sitting there for God knows how long. And if we open the cockpit, you see there's even some rust in there. It's amazing how it brings out the details, and you can really see the sort of 3D weathering that's going on. Because of all the paint on this custom, you have to be really careful when you transform it. I know that it sounds counterintuitive given how it is supposed to kind of look like crud, but you don't want to chip it too much or the purple starts to show, and that really breaks up this color scheme. So I'm going to transform it off camera, and our first stop is going to be a gearwalk mode, and if you swap the arms it looks much better. Anyway, I'll just show you. I'll stop talking and just show you. The perfect gearwalk mode is of course impossible with this mold. It was not meant to do it, so this is cobbled together. If you own this toy, one thing I recommend is, if you haven't popped these arms off at this joint and swapped them for this mode, man, it just makes it look so much better. For those who don't own the toy already, so there's no locking point. These are on swinging arms. These also are just kind of rotating. So you can move them to look better depending on what angle you want to display this thing at. But no matter what, there are some where it's going to be brutal, like underneath here where it's super hollow. For this halfway transformation, the whole head and body are just kind of hanging out exposed underneath. But that's not what we're here for. We're here for as good a halfway mode as possible, and I really like how this looks standing on a shelf or on display. It's very striking, and this also allows us to take a closer look at some of the paintwork on the limbs. We'll start on this side. You can see it's backwards in gearwalk mode, but the way that the shoulders resemble the skull fighter, and some of the paint chipping. The hands turned out really well. Obviously there's no articulation on this toy, but it really brings out the molded detail. Again, there's rust, there's chipping, really gives it that great sense of scale. These are the back of the legs, but painted it really looks much better and not as hollow when there's actually some interest and some color going on there. If we take a look down at the feet, you can actually see some of the salt, and it really gives it an amazing three-dimensional texture and look, and just really sells it. The front of the legs, of course, look great, since this is what you're going to be looking at most of the time. But gotta be honest, for me, this looks so good in this arrangement that I prefer it this way to even the plain mode. Ideally, I'd love to have a little ladder that kind of hangs down here, and in my wildest dreams make like a junkyard diorama behind it, or even just a base for it to sit on, just to really show it off. Robot mode is the least Macrossy, and this is where you can really see that it's the Skywarp mold. But again, Lee has really accentuated with the skull cockpit, some of the yellow detailing again on the shoulders, which we saw before, but it still has a very VF-1S color scheme and feel, and really it's the head more than anything else that kind of takes you out of it. This chest detailing, the weathering that's done on this is some of the best on the whole figure, I think. The way that the skull has been painted and then worn, these intakes just look fantastic up close. It's hard to say that something that's so ugly can be beautiful, but I really do love it. And just to take a look at the head, because he had a Skywarp that he was just messing around with, it is what it is. But I've been working on a head swap, which is not painted yet, but I do have the head. So let me just show you it with the actual Jetfire head. It will look wrong, but I think it'll still give you kind of an idea of what it'll be eventually. As you can see, it sticks out like a sore thumb and certainly doesn't transform this into an Arcadia piece, but if you use a little imagination, once this is weathered up, painted accurately with the white and the green and everything, it'll really help sell this as the original. Eventually I'll post a short video showing off the results, just just so we can see how well I did. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. I absolutely love this thing. It's really opened my eyes to some of the possibilities of customizing, and I am really glad to have it. Thanks again to Lee for making it and sending it to me. And everybody out there, take care until next time.